Hello and welcome back to season 2, episode 5 of Sacred Soul Talk, where we are here to feed your spirit, to add fire to your fuel, to make your week incredible, your month incredible. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're going to give this video a thumbs up after and forward it to anyone who you think today's message is going to impact them in a very powerful way. We are here to touch, move, and inspire and change lives. So let's pass it. Pass it?
Share it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's the one? Pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
So pay it forward. Forward it to anyone you think it resonates with you. Thank you. Okay, you guys. So we're going to start off with grounding as we do with every single one of my podcasts. And remember, you are not here by coincidence. There are no coincidences in life. You're always spirit-led. So there is a message today for you to hear. And as I say, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Take what resonates, and that which doesn't serve you, simply discard it, let it go. And let's learn to apply that in life too. There's going to be situations that we love and situations we dislike. Find the message, find what you can resonate with. Take that and just leave the rest. Let's have an amazing week Okay, so we're going to have everyone close their eyes. I want you to drop into your body. I want you to take a moment of silence from life, from your mind, from the racing thoughts. Let's just drop into our hearts. Be present for what Spirit would like to speak to you today and through us. Everything is divine timing. You're in the right place at the right time. Sometimes Spirit just needs you to slow down, to stop, and to be present and breathe. I'm going to have you take a very nice, deep, slow breath in. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in nice and deep. Hold it at the top. And just be present. Blow out. And as you blow out, I want you to release anything heavy from the day today, from yesterday, from this week, this month, this year. Learn the discernment of letting go that which no longer serves you. We're going to release anything heavy, anything negative, any anxiety, any negativity, any fear, any heaviness. Feeling your body. Are your hands relaxed? Feel your neck, roll your head around. Your chest, your stomach. Are you holding it in like, ah? Be present to where you hold anxiety, where you hold stress. And allow yourself just to flow right now, to be soft, to let go. I'm going to have you take another deep breath in. And with this breath, I want you to breathe in this golden, magical glitter, this high vibrational frequency, this God frequency, this highest self frequency of your dreams, your desires, and all of your deepest yearnings. We're going to breathe it in. Breathe it in deep, deep, deep as we raise every one of your cells to the highest vibrational frequency of fluorescence. Breathe it in, hold it in, anchoring your dreams, your manifestations, your goals, your prayers. Breathe out. Breathe out any unwanted thoughts, any heaviness in your heart, any stress, anxiety. Release that. Let it go. It is not serving you. When you are in a low vibrational state, it keeps your dreams and your manifestations. It blocks you. So let's create some open channels. Let's quantum leap some timelines today. We're going to take one more deep breath. And with this deep breath, we're going to call in spirit. We're going to call in our future selves 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. That they will be present today to allow us to give a message that will inspire you to take action into your life calling. Okay, take a deep breath in. Breathe in. Peace, love, tranquility, high vibrational frequency. Hold it. We're going to anchor in your prayers, your desires, your manifestations now that you are this clear, open, high vibrational, beautiful spirit. Release the last of any low vibrational thoughts, feelings. Release. Awesome. You can go ahead and open your eyes, bring you back. I know. I know. Yeah, we could. That's my favorite space to be in. Relax.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Okay, ready? All right. Okay, we have a very special guest today. We have Dom the Hypnotist.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
And the crowd goes wild. Awesome. Oh, hello, Dom. Thank you so much for taking time out of your, I know how busy you are, taking time to show up today. Thank you for taking a stand for world transformation, for following your dreams.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. And yeah, just ever since I got here, just talking to your brother, and just everything feels good. It feels good. And then after what you just did there, I'm like even more feeling tuned. So thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I was watching some of your YouTube videos. Holy moly. Okay, so first let's get into like the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even know what a hypnotist really does. So
Yeah.
let's like tune people in without the really hardcore scientific terms, easy.
We'll make it easy. We'll make it for 5-year-olds to
What
understand.
is a hypnotist and what do they do?
So most people, when they think about a hypnotist, they think about the guy that came to their high school or to their college or state fair, and they bring a bunch of people on stage and make them cluck like a chicken, bark like a dog, and depending on what.
Can you do those?
I have done 2 stage shows. It's just not really my thing. It's just kind of goofy to me, and I'm goofy, but like I'm more serious, and I use it really to help transform people, to help people release stuff from their past and focus on their future. Except very similar to what you were just doing, and so we there's fun things you could do to put people in hypnosis, even if they don't go on stage. You can make them stuck to the floor, and all that stuff's fun. She's like, oh, I want to do it.
Can we bring in some of my exes?
Right? We'll wipe your mind clear.
Literally.
We'll do that. She's
You
like,
never dated me.
we'll do the Men in Black. Just look into my camera.
Right.
Yeah, and so hypnosis. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis, meaning that we all go in and out of hypnosis all the time. So if you've ever been driving on the freeway and suddenly your mind wanders off and a 20-minute drive felt like 5 minutes, we've all had that happen, right?
That's me.
Yeah.
Every day.
All the time.
All
Every day, right?
day long.
So that's what hypnosis feels like. Now, if you ever see any of my videos where I do a rapid induction, I grab somebody's hand and go sleep, and then they kind of go like this. What's happening is that they're not sleeping. What? Oh, okay. Oh.
We didn't tell her not to call.
Sleep mode? It's this one, I think.
I know. It's that one, right? You didn't turn that one on. That one, we think you put sleep on.
So when that happens, what happens to the YouTube stream?
It's still streaming. It just goes black. And all he has to do is just press reconnect.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, if you're out there, stay tuned. Kidding.
He said sleep, so
sleep. That's true. Everything went black.
We're
Boom.
like, dear spirit, we didn't mean it literally. It was figuratively.
That's funny. But no, so what's happening in that moment is the person isn't actually going to sleep. The reason why, as a hypnotist, we use the word sleep is because we know what that means. That means close our eyes and like basically go into a trance, right? And rather than saying, hey, close your eyes and go into a trance, it's just a faster way to access that. The other thing with that is part of the reason why that works is something called a pattern interrupt. So a pattern interrupt is essentially, we all are used to our normal everyday patterns, right? How we walk through the day, how we drive, how we interact. And when something interrupts our pattern, it confuses the mind. And when your mind is confused, it will look for the first thing to basically lead it in a certain direction. So imagine that, you're sitting in a big room, there's a couple hundred people, and suddenly a fire alarm goes off. That's a pattern interrupt, right? So now our mind is confused and it's looking for the first person to lead us in the right direction, right? So if there's a guy standing by the door and he's like, hey, come over here, come over here, come over here, without even questioning, you're going to go where he's saying. Now that guy could be leading you to go take you and kidnap you in his van. You don't know where he's taking you, but your mind just is so confused, it's looking for direction. So when you interrupt somebody's pattern and you say, hey, sleep, go into a trance or whatever, their mind is looking for that next thing to grasp onto, and that's how you put somebody in hypnosis. So it's not, now when people come to me, Dom, I bet you can't hypnotize me. I'm like, cool, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be hypnotized, you won't be hypnotized, right? If somebody's just like, okay, make me go to sleep. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care. By the way, I'm not going to give my gift away for free to somebody who doesn't, who doesn't want it anyway. So
it's a choice. Like, so if I give you permission, of course my body and spirit's going to be like,
do it. Yeah, exactly.
Versus if I'm like, let me fight you.
Yeah,
like,
I
won't
even waste my time with those people. So yeah, that's all hypnosis is. And it's a very, very powerful tool to access your subconscious to help begin to manifest the things you want, heal your body, whatever it may be. So.
Okay. So let's give let's go into let's say that I want to manifest a Lamborghini Urus in the next 30 days.
Okay.
Like what are your processes?
Here's the thing with that. And let me give you, this is my perspective on manifestation, right? So let's imagine that you are in the desert and you want to manifest ice cream. You can sit in the desert all you want and you can visualize, hope, and pray. Ice cream's probably not going to show up, right? Maybe, I don't know. So what would be the best thing to do? Well, okay. I love Baskin Robbins. What's your favorite ice cream? Do you have a favorite?
Cold Stone Creamery.
Cold Stone. I love Cold Stone too. So what we have to do is go, okay, I'm in the middle of the desert. There's no Cold Stone. There's no Baskin Robbins. Okay, what's the next step? Well, I should probably get to where there's a road, right? Where I can start to go down the path of finding out where the ice cream is, right? So we get to the road and okay, maybe we need a hitchhike. And then all of a sudden we're in the city. Once we're in the city, hey, can I borrow your phone? I need to look up Baskin Robbins. And now we're at the Baskin Robbins. So when it comes to manifesting a Urus or whatever, is it available to you at where you're currently at in your life, right? And if it's not, let's move in that direction. And will it happen in 30 days? Is it possible? Yes. But if it's let's say you're trying to get the ice cream and you're at the road and you're like, well, I don't have my ice cream yet. Well, you don't just sit there and go, well, I don't have my ice cream. It didn't work. No, you just keep moving. Yeah.
I'm going to sit in the middle of the desert.
You keep moving in the direction
and not move.
And eventually you find the Baskin Robbins, right? So it's the same thing with that, right? It's like, okay, we got to look at what's available to you. How much money do you have? All that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So now here's where hypnosis would come into play is it will get you to, number one, focus your reticular activating system on what you want. So it starts to show up more in your environment, right? This is why your reticular activating system is essentially, it's about 2 inches above your brainstem. and its job is to scan your environment to match with the pictures in our heads, right? So this is why.
What's it called again?
Reticular activating system, or the RAS.
Is that the pineal gland or no?
No, the pineal gland is here. The reticular activating system is back here.
Activation.
And so this is why when you go to look at buying a new car, or you buy a new car, what do you start seeing everywhere on the freeway? You see that car everywhere.
It's
right?
everywhere.
It's everywhere. Now, did everybody go buy the new car all of a sudden? No, the car was always there.
Right.
You just didn't see it because you weren't focused on it. So as soon as you start focusing on it, now it starts popping up in your existence. Now you got to go further and you got to go, okay, you must keep focusing on it to, again, manifest it. So that's where the hypnosis comes into play. It makes it to where the things that you want become you're very hyper-focused on it. And it also gives you the ability and the confidence to take action now and go towards it, right? Because some people sit in the desert and go, well, it'll never happen. Oh, I'll probably never find a Baskin Robbins, and they'll just stay there. So
and they'll sit in the desert the rest of their life.
Yeah, and they'll go, why isn't ice cream not showing up?
I thought about it.
Yeah, so there's a saying when it comes to manifestation: we think it with our mind, we feel it with our hearts, and we build it with our hands. And what that means is everything starts in our imagination. You want the Urus, right? Yeah. And how does it make you feel? Feels good, right? You feel it in your heart. You're like, I want that Urus.
Fire.
Now it's just take action and make it happen. So that's how you manifest a Urus. There you go.
Oh, I love it. I like the part where you're talking, because I have a lot of debates with people when people talk about manifestation or law of visualization, vision boards, or any of that. Some people watch, like Dwayne Reed, right? What's his name?
Dwayne Dyer?
Dwayne Dyer.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if you just visualize it, it'll come. And I always explain, but there's like you said, there's 3 parts. You got to visualize it, feel it, and then take action.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a lot of people don't. Oh. Right here?
How about me? Am I good?
Yeah.
I need to like, my bulge is showing. No.
Your camel toes.
Yeah, right? Oh.
Yeah, so and I find like it's a component that a lot of people misunderstand, even in prayer, whether people are into the Bible or not, because I was brought up born again Christian, so I had to learn the whole entire Bible by heart.
Oh wow.
And then I'm a science person, so I ended up I'm in quantum physics, like nerd buff. So I always tell people, like, I love like this debate, because whether you're atheist or you're into God, like I got both spectrums covered in regards to the manifestation. So I always say, manifestation is prayer. Prayer is manifestation.
I agree, yeah.
But it does not work without action. Like the Bible says, knock and the door will be open.
Interesting.
Ask for it and you shall receive. You don't go up to your boss and say, hey, I want a raise. How you know if you're going to get a raise?
Yeah.
Right? If you're looking for a new job, if you don't go open the door, knock on it, how are you going to get it?
Right.
So a lot of time people think, and I go, prayer is an action. It's not like I just asked God. It's like that. It's, I'm going to go out now to the road, hitchhike, jump on the car, then I'm going to go to the road. Like it's a process. And I feel like a lot of people have this idea that it's simply just visualizing something.
No.
And so what did you say? So it's like that's the anchor for it, correct?
Well, what it'll do is it'll make it to where it makes it so vivid in your mind that it becomes very clear, it becomes something you're almost addicted to your goal, right? Or addicted to the thing you want. And then it gives you the confidence and the willingness to take action, right? So one thing could be, so we'll do another little exercise. So
I like exercise.
I want you to say, I want you to pay attention how you feel, right? So because people say you could be anything you want, you could do anything you put your mind to. Almost, because it's not quite true. Here's the thing. So I want you to say, I could be the president of the United States. So say that.
I can be the president of the United States.
Perfect. Now I want you to say, I'm willing to do the work and do whatever it takes to become the president of the United States.
I am willing to do the work and whatever it takes to be the president of the United States.
Now, how did you feel when you said the second part?
Oh, it felt powerful.
You felt powerful when you did this. You're like, I want to be the president.
I think that felt...
Go ahead.
I think that felt playful.
Uh-huh.
Like I could be the president versus once I spoke it, I felt like...
Now, are you willing to do the work to do whatever it takes to become president of the United States?
If I wanted to be, yes.
But are you willing to?
No.
No, there you go. That's the thing with manifestation. So you have to be willing to do the work. Now, if you're willing to do the work, then yes, you can make it happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's where people say, oh, I want to manifest and this and that. Okay, are you willing to do the work to what it takes to get there? Okay, cool. Then you can make it happen. But if you're not willing to do the work, which I'm assuming you're not because you don't want to be the president of the United States, then that's how you determine, right? So are you willing to do the work to get the Urus?
Yes.
Of course you are. And eventually you're going to have it whenever that may be. So now here's another thing when it comes to manifestation. A lot of times people, we want things fast. We want it to come the 30 days or the week, right? We want it now. And what ends up happening is, so I like to do something with our clients where we do something called putting it within your sweet spot. So your sweet spot is on a scale of 1 to 10. You believe that whatever you want to achieve within that time frame, you believe it at like an 8, right?
Okay.
Now, the reason you don't want things to be an absolute 10 is because if it's an absolute 10, that means it's too easy, right? If you know, hey, when I set my mind to this, for sure, 100%, I'm going to achieve it, you're not stretching yourself, right? Now, at the same time, if your belief drops too low, then suddenly doubt starts creeping in, procrastination starts creeping in, and then you put yourself in a low vibration, and then you actually do the opposite, which is pushing your manifestations away. Now, what ends up happening when you put it in that sweet spot, the little bit of doubt is good because that's what's going to stretch you to want to get better, to do the things necessary. So let me ask you, the Urus in the next 30 days, what's your belief on a scale 1 to 10? Not that it can happen, because we know it can, but that it will happen, 1 through 10. What's the honest, true number?
Like 7.
Okay. How about, what's the lowest number that comes to your mind?
7.
Okay. How about 60 days or sooner? What, 1 through 10?
8. 8.
How about 90 days or sooner?
Oh, 10?
You sure?
Yeah.
Perfect. So now we know your sweet spot is like 60 days. Now, if you notice I said something, it's or sooner. So we never want to make ourselves get stuck to wait the 60 days.
Right.
We also want the ability to manifest it sooner. So if you say, hey, I'm going to get a Urus in 60 days, well, now you got to wait 60 days. But if you say, hey, I want the Urus, or even better, or you always want to say and or more and or sooner. Meaning like, hey, I want to make $1 million a month. Okay, cool. $1 million a month or more by next year. Okay, next year and or sooner. So that way we leave the ability to do more and make it happen faster. So that's how you notice how now that it's within your sweet spot, you feel a little bit better at it.
Yeah.
You feel a little more excited. Like, okay, now it's achievable. Now the manifestation, here's what usually happens when people do this. Your manifestation will actually happen much quicker because now you feel good about it. You feel excited. You're high vibration. You're going
Tomorrow.
after it. Yeah.
My front door.
Well, if it shows up tomorrow, call me. I'll come back out and we'll go for a ride.
I'm all dumb.
Hit me up.
It's at my front door.
All right. What color is it going to be?
Pink.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I think they have it's like a rose kind of color, but yeah,
Nice.
pink.
And,
Because I feel like guys have the red, all the the black, like
Yeah.
all the boy colors. Like
Right.
I want it to look like
pink is cool.
like
Yeah.
I'm not driving my husband's car.
Right. It's your car, right? It's
Like I want it pink so people are like, oh,
Totally.
it's her car.
yeah,
You know, it's
they know
wifey's
yours,
car.
for sure.
Yeah, because the first thing people are gonna say if I'm driving a sports car is like, is that your sugar
husband bought it.
daddy's?
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
is that your man's car?
100%.
I
Put
wish.
NTMYMAN. That'll be your license plate. Not my man. I hope that's enough letters. I don't know.
I love it. Okay, what's one of the top misconceptions that you get a lot with hypnotherapy?
A lot of people think, number one, it's fake, right? And I used to think it was fake. And what's funny is when me and my fiance and I moved to Vegas, one of the first things that we did is we went to a hypnosis show, right? So I had been in, I had been into like NLP and all this stuff for years. I
Yeah.
never took a course or anything, but it was always kind of out there in my mind. And so we went to this hypnosis course, and the guy's doing his thing, and he brings people up on stage, and man, like whatever he did at the time, I understand now, but back then I was like, oh, these people are not faking it. They're not actors. They're not like shills or whatever. Like these people, whatever he's got them under, some type of spell or whatever, it's working because you could just see in there's people's eyes. It was real. So that was like my first introduction to hypnosis. And I was like, okay. And then later on, I discovered one of the other misconceptions is like, it's the devil, right? It's evil.
Yeah.
It's witchcraft. I actually had some guy last
demon
night.
possession.
Yeah, demon possession. It's like, no, here's the thing. Hypnosis is just a tool. The tool itself is not evil. It's the intention behind the person that's using the tool,
Right.
right? So I had a guy yesterday on Facebook, and I don't even know why I responded, but he's like, I usually don't.
You know what?
I get so many
I
comments.
love a good debate.
Yeah.
When people
Sometimes,
come
like,
on my things, I'm like, I could be a bitch, but then there's also a good debate where I'm like, I can nail this motherfucker.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looks so stupid right now.
100%.
So I'm
And
like, let's go in.
let me
Let's
hear
have
your
some
side.
fun, yeah.
Well, this guy's like, hypnosis is God or is witchcraft and this and that, and then he ended it with God bless whatever, and I was like. And I just went back and forth, and he said, "Oh, I learned hypnosis from these two guys, and I know of these two guys, and they're like, they use hypnosis to kind of like manipulate girls and hook up with them, and that's fine if that's what they want to do, but does that make the hypnosis itself evil? No, because
Right.
I use it to help people heal when they've been R-worded. I've helped people heal when they've had their whatever. Think of the craziest things you could possibly think of that happen to a human being." That's what we help people heal with. So if that's witchcraft, then fucking, I guess I'm a witch, all right? Whatever. But I told them that, and I was like, don't ever put me in a category with people that are using that for that. So
Right.
it's just anything else, right? A gun could be used to murder people, or it could be used to protect your family and save your life. So that's how I perceive hypnosis. It's just a tool. So
Oh, nice.
I'm not a witch, okay? I promise. Or am I? I don't know. If a witch was a witch, would they tell you they're a witch?
I believe like witches are magicians. Magicians are creators. People who are visionaries.
Yeah.
Like we're magicians. We're creating. Like it's all. I feel like it's all. To me, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
The exact same thing.
The first thing I told that guy was, okay, Jesus walked on water, turned water into wine, fed 1,000 people with bread. I'm like, that sounds like witchcraft, bro. Like, I'm just making people go like this. Like if I start levitating, like fucking hey. So.
Oh, I actually love this one because I have the gift of prophecy. Like I see things and I dream.
Yeah.
My dreams are very prophetic and it's interesting because I have like my own spiritual advisors that I work with, and it's so crazy that Christianity says psychics are wrong, but the whole Bible has nothing but prophets who foresee the future. Like, please tell me the difference.
Uh-huh.
Now, witchcraft is a whole different thing because witchcraft could also be an abusive person just cursing at somebody.
Right? Yeah.
That is also black magic. Just because they didn't have a little magic
Cards
ball
or
and
whatever,
said,
yeah.
"Dear Satan, we're invoking you."
Right.
It's like you said, it's the intention behind your words, your actions. Anything manipulative or deceitful is a form of black magic.
Right.
And so that I always find that when we get people with religion come at me, and I'm like, okay. Why is it we still have current, people who are prophetics and they're in the Christians and, they bring in thousands of people to their churches. I said, why is that? How is that any different than a psychic? There's no difference. God both gave them prophetic visions.
Right.
Maybe one person is clairvoyant where he sees it versus maybe a person might need cards to like ask spirit, like, hey, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? But ultimately it's the same exact universal power.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my spiritual advisor that I talked to, because I when I first went through and got my shaman rights and all that, I asked her, I'm like,
shaman rights?
Yeah. So
I
all the psychic stuff, I love all that stuff.
Yes.
And
I know I have my little.
but I was
usually the
hesitant to it, like, oh, am I gonna? Is this witchcraft? What is this? And she goes, in the actual Hebrew version of the Bible, oracles, psychic, all those are in there in a positive light. She told me the verses and all that. I don't remember. But, and then she said the same exact thing you said. The Bible's filled with prophets and this and miracles and like things that you would think are witchcraft. So there's nothing different. Now, again, could there be a psychic that could use that for negativity and doing things like that? Of course. So it's all about the person and what they're using it for. So yeah, I get those people. And what's funny is I didn't even believe in God before I got into hypnosis. And then once I got in hypnosis, I don't believe in God. I know there's a God. Like when people say, I believe in God, I'm like, I know there's a God. 100%, there's nothing in my mind that you could tell me different. And that all came because I got into hypnosis. So actually, hypnosis led me closer to knowing God rather than being an atheist or thinking it's not real. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Okay, so give us some, like, what about it led you to God? That's really cool because I like hearing this stuff when people find their own, like, their own belief in it. Like, I need to know, like, what for you, what little things that made you start believing that there was a higher power?
So I won't get into the story on the podcast just because, I'm a professional, right? I work with professional athletes and high level business owners, stuff like this. And sometimes when you get down this path, it makes you look a little kooky. And
I like kooky.
I know. I'm like, should I do it?
I am the queen of kookiness.
Oh, should I say it?
I dance in the sun all day long every day.
So, well, I'll just say this. You know, when you've had attacks by the other side, right? Whatever you want to call them.
Spiritual attacks?
Spiritual
warfare.
Spiritual warfare. And
Everyone
it's real.
believes in that.
And it's 100% real. And there's no doubt, you know, then, okay, if that's real, then this other side has to be real. So it was actually having experiences with
the dark
stuff and then being like, oh, damn. Like, especially when you're in this kind of realm, if you believe in spirits or not, when you're in this realm as a light worker or whatever you want to call it, like the other side, they don't like that. So they want, you know, they try to like mess with you and make you afraid. And all. So, you know, so that's how I came into to knowing that there was God, because the things that happened to me, there's no denying it. Like nobody could tell me, oh, that was your imagination. Oh, no. Oh, you didn't see that. You didn't hear that. You didn't feel that. Like, okay, fuck you. I know exactly what I saw and felt and heard. So, you know, so that's how I came to that conclusion. So.
Wow. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And I speak about this a lot because since a little girl, since I was 9 years old, when we were talking earlier about like at 9 years old, I went to a Pentecostal church, spoke in tongues. They used to cast out demons. So I grew up always knowing about it. And what I didn't know until like, you know, at 9 years old was all the things I'd been seeing as a child was I always had access to see demons. So to this day, like even more so now through sobriety, I see them.
Do you see them on people or do you
I see them in them.
Like what, could you just, cause I'm curious, could you describe what that looks like? Cause I can feel it or I know it, but I don't see anything. You know what I mean? So,
well, I don't, only once have I ever seen an entity, and it was the first time I wanted to commit suicide.
It's usually when people are suicidal.
Yeah, it was the same exact thing. I had, I think I got pregnant at 17 and the church was ostracized me, said, you can't come back. You're making a bad influence on the rest of the girls in the youth group. Don't ever come back. So I was angry. I was like, fuck God, fuck Christians, you fucking fake fucks. So from there, I went down, you know, my story goes long, drug abuse and everything, and ended up getting sober at 26. So I had a 10-year run, drugs, alcohol, like everything that's crazy. And I hated God, like hated. It wasn't even like I disconnected. I hated God.
Right.
I was 3 months sober from everything. And my mind, I had agoraphobia where I couldn't even leave the front door. I had 24-hour panic attacks.
Wow.
And I never experienced this. I was so confused. And I just knew I couldn't even go out the front door to go to the market to buy food for my daughter. And she'd been sleeping in the back room. Oh, this always makes me cry. And I was on the couch and I felt so powerless. Like I was just powerless. Like, how can I not walk out the fucking front door to feed my daughter? Like there was no more powerless feeling as a mom. And I remember I was like sitting on the couch. And I was so angry, like frustrated, like I've been so I'm such a powerful person. Like, how is this? Like, I just felt like something was like grasping my life. Like you couldn't explain it any other way because I was a powerful person. So nothing made sense. And I remember I was sitting on the couch and I was just like crying, and I was so like crying angry. And I literally saw these big black shadow claws from behind me going like this. And I remember looking up and there's these black claws and they were literally going like this. And I was shrinking. And mind you, I'm sober. I'm not on anything. And I didn't even have this kind of views when I was high, you know? And I remember just like, it was crushing me and I was turning smaller and smaller and smaller. And then as the claws were pushing me this way, then the face of this big black demon, was literally like I could clearly see it.
It came up like this?
Yeah, from behind me.
Oh, damn.
And then his face came here, and literally, like, I just turned into like black, like I went into like this black realm where I couldn't hear anything, I couldn't see anything, but all I could hear was this voice saying, "Kill yourself, kill yourself." Oh, wow. And it was loud. It was a loud voice. It wasn't even this little voice in my head. It was a loud voice saying, "Kill yourself." And then I just felt like I was being strangled, and I was feeling such excruciating pain that you would like, I wanted to commit suicide to get out of the pain, and I couldn't move. I was immobile, and I literally remember being like, what the fuck, like what is going on? And all I knew is there was like this, I had like this little light, this little me was inside saying, don't, Deanne, don't fight. Like it was like a faint little voice in me saying, fight, Deanne, fight. The thing was like, die, kill yourself, die. And I was just like you, I really wanted, like you just thinking, and I was thinking, well, remember the phone was to the left. This is when we had landlines. And I was like, can I make it to grab the land? I didn't even know if I could move. Can I make it to the landline, call 911? What am I going to say? Someone's yelling at me to kill myself? Like this sounds insane. And right at that moment, I just kept hearing the little voice saying, Deanne, fight. And it was me, like, Deanne, fight, or God or spirit or my future self. Like, bitch, you have a plan. Like, don't do it. Like, don't fall for it. And for the first time ever, I literally screamed, God, help me. And the minute I said the word God, it went,
wow.
And I was back in the room. I could breathe. There was light. I felt the first time in the panic, I felt peace for the first time. And I dropped to the ground crying.
Wow.
But because I just knew my daughter's in the next room. I can't fucking take my life. Like, she needs me.
Right.
You know, I always tell her, like, I'm glad I kept you at 17. Like God didn't send me to you. He sent you to me because he knew, like, that day, if it wasn't for me, like, I'm a giver. Like, I'm not going to leave because I know she needs me. But if it was just me, I would have, for sure, it wouldn't have happened. And that moment, like, literally, I remember I was on the phone crying, like, in a fetal position. And I just kept saying, God, help me. God, help me. God, help me. Called my brother. I called my mom. And it's from everything that had happened. And like that's the first time I'd ever physically seen like this, and it was demon was this huge like gargoyle, like, and I was just like, you've been around me my whole motherfucking life.
Yeah, especially when you do drugs, alcohol, you're just inviting out all the creepy crawlies.
Yeah,
like,
come get me.
come inside me. Literally. So okay, so I'll tell you what I was gonna say. Fuck it, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. So,
and you know what? There's people watching that go through this that probably don't want to share with people either.
Yeah,
because they're gonna think they're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I
by
tell
the
people
way,
my
I don't
story.
drink. I don't use drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. I'll drink one time a year. I'll maybe have 2 drinks and then that's it. And so this is all coming from a sober mind. But so there's a longer story before this one, but I'll tell this one. So I had a client come to me one day, and this is like our first interaction, and I did it through Zoom.
Right.
And I do all my work through Zoom. And she comes to me, and beautiful girl, really successful. And I say that because some people think, oh, demons or this or that. They're probably like all, all fucked up on meth. And no, that's not always those people. It's beautiful people as well. So she comes to me, and we're talking and kind of whatever in our first session, and something was just telling me like, man, I don't know what it is, but something's dark with this girl, like, I don't know. Sure enough, about halfway through the conversation, she mentioned when she was younger, she used to play with the Ouija board.
Ooh,
so
right there.
I was like, oh shit. I was right. Okay, cool. So then in our second session, we jumped on the Zoom or whatever, and she goes, Dom, I've been having a rough couple of weeks. I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, I haven't been able to sleep. I've been drinking. I've been doing cocaine with my boyfriend. And she goes, and also I'm starting to hallucinate. I'm seeing spirits in my room. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, you ain't fucking hallucinating. The veil has been removed and you're seeing what's there. You know what I mean? But I didn't say that to her. I was like, okay, whatever. And she goes, and then also I've been having this reoccurring nightmare that I've been having since I was like 5 years old. And it's just been every night I've been having this nightmare, whatever. So I said, okay, let's sit back. Let's release it. So she's sitting up against her wall like this.
Wait, you're all throwing the holy water
she's
around
like,
yourself real quick.
Well, let me freaking. This is actually before I even knew.
Oh, right,
anything.
correct.
So I was like
prepared.
Not even really know what's going on, and so she was sitting back like up against her wall, like at a 90-degree angle like this, and there was a mirror behind her wall. So we start going through, and we go back in the memory, and as we're doing this, the left side of her face starts glitching out, right, and I'm like, that's weird. Because usually when a glitch happens, like the whole screen. But it was just her face, right? It's like, okay, that's weird. And then suddenly the whole left side of her body started glitching out, but just her body, not the background, nothing, just her body. And so I'm just looking like, this is really weird. By the way, as we're doing this, she's like, oh my God, Dom, this feels like energy's leaving my body. Oh, this feels so good. And I'm just like, okay. And then this glitch that's happening, suddenly it starts coming out of her body, starts like out of the left side of her body, and then starts raising up above her head. And then now it's in the mirror and I can see it. And I don't say anything to her. I just grab my phone. I start taking a bunch of pictures, right? And she's doing her thing, whatever. So we get done. And the first thing she does, she looks at me in the camera on the FaceTime or whatever. And she grabs herself in her chest. She goes, oh my God, Dom, I finally feel like myself. She goes, I haven't felt like myself in years. And so I go, I think I know why. So I'll show you these pictures. Or this picture. I literally have a picture of a freaking entity, demon, whatever you want to call it, on my phone. So this was the where is it at? It's Beat Becker. This was a couple years ago. So this is, where are we at here? While I'm looking for this.
So when you're on that, I'm gonna piggyback off that, because during that same time period, a week or two before that, I had been talking to my mom on the phone, crying, panic attacks and everything. And I guess she had said, well, Mija, when are you going to go to church? And to this day, it was crystal clear in my head. And I said, Mom, you already know that. And I thought I went on to a different subject. Mm-hmm. My mom said my voice changed and I started spewing curse words. Right when she said go to church.
No, but before the thing
came out, that I started spewing curse words at her, and I started speaking in a voice that wasn't mine. And my brother had to grab the phone from her.
Wow, you remember that?
And I don't know if you remember, but there was something else coming through, and I don't remember that.
Do you remember what you said? Or
no, I remember none of it. As a matter of fact, I didn't even remember until years later when I was telling my mom the story about the suicide, that she said, oh my God, well, you remember that one time you were cursing at me? And I said, when? She said, when I told you to go to church. I'm like, Mom, I told you no. And I continued the conversation. I remember the conversation clear. I do not remember in any way telling my mom off or curse. I would never curse at my mom in my life.
So whatever was going on just kind of took over.
Yeah, so like we were saying, yeah.
So check this out. I don't know if the camera can see, but I'll show you and then we'll show the camera. So that was what was above her head. And you can see it clear as day.
Wow.
You can literally see the eyebrows, the eye sockets, the nose, when you can really see it, like not on the phone, like how you guys, the viewers are watching it. When you could see it.
See the top right here?
So the black part is her blacked out. So I blacked out her face.
So she blacked out here, but there's a face above her looking down at her.
And when you could see it, well, I'll show you guys after. When you see it, like actually in my physical hand, not on the internet, you could see literally the eyebrows, the eye socket, the nose, the nostrils, the lips, the chin.
All of that.
Yeah, it's wild. So once I had that, and then plus the other stuff that happened, I was like, oh, if that's real, then angels have to be real and all this other stuff. So God has to be real. So that was really like a huge awakening for me when I was like, all right, yeah, this is. I don't believe in God. I know there's a God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. So this is what I think happened. It wasn't on Zoom. It was on FaceTime, actually. I think you know how certain cameras can pick up certain frequencies or whatever? Mm-hmm. Like infrared or X-ray or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what happened is...
Let me lift it?
Fuck it. Yeah, whatever. I think... Okay, there we go. Perfect. There we go. I think that's what happened is just like you have night vision can see a certain frequency at night that we can't normally see. X-ray vision can see things. I think something to do with that, the FaceTime camera and then her thing and then the mirror, whatever that combination was, it caught it perfectly.
Wow.
So yeah, that was like and the fact that she looked at me and said, oh my God, Dom, I finally feel like myself. I haven't felt like myself in years. I'm like, I think I know why. So, and I've had since then just so many different, and what you said about the suicide thing, typically, I don't work with a lot of suicide people in the very beginning of my stuff I did, but a lot of times when people have suicide, they do have some type of attachments. 100%. Yeah, they do. And I know, like, again, I don't even like to talk about this because people think you're crazy, but this is the reality of the real world. This shit's real. Again, 2 people are sitting here completely sober. We don't drink, we don't do any of this, and this is what we see. And a lot of times it's the drugs and alcohol and all these other things that blind people to be able to tap into this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's this shit's real, man. As much as you want to deny it or whatever, it's real. So
it's oh wow, 100%. Because I know I have a few friends too who aren't into God or everything, but we've had this discussion. I love little debates. Because they always say, they're like, you know what? They're like, you talk about your God thing, but like they said, like they take what resonates, does it, but they'll literally be like, they believe in the dark and light. So like whatever their beliefs is, there's the dark and the light. Whether we call it demons, the devil, the darkness. Bad people.
Right.
It's the same exact energy.
Right.
And it exists.
Yeah.
And we just happen to get a fucking photo of it.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe that's where they start, right? And then it slowly, because that's how was for me over time. It's just like one thing after another just kept happening. I'm like, all right, there's no more denying it. Like I only just accept it. And even as I'm doing this and saying this now, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is. Like I don't care if people think I'm crazy.
I actually love this because I believe the more we speak about it, the more people, it opens them up to looking for it now.
Right.
Because so you were asking me earlier if I physically see them. So other than that, I've never physically seen one like in waking life, but I can see them in people. So when I make eye contact with someone, I can see a demon staring back at me. And then also too, like, because a lot of my visions and the prophetic things I'm getting is what I'm learning to understand now is, so us who are light workers, the chosen ones who are out here to, even the Bible says the 144 in the spiritual world, the 144 is, the army of God who are chosen ones who are here, the star seeds, the light workers. The day we were born, Satan assigned a group of demons to us. The day we were born.
This is what it says in the Bible?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't. It might even say it in the Bible. I think it does, but it's a vision that I had and an understanding of everything's making, like my own process of everything is. The day we were born, we were assigned a group of demons from Satan that their only job was to take us off the path to where we're at today. So if you look at everything you've ever been through, it was, and also too, if you like this, it's the same demons. So whether it's drugs, alcohol, lust, abuse, it's the same demons that you've had your whole life. So they'll just be coming through different people, but it's always the same problem. So it's really interesting because when I do look at maybe like toxic relationship with men I've had, it's been the same exact issue with every man. They've never been new issues.
Right.
So it's the same demon jumping into these people, knowing, well, this fucked up Deanne last time. Let's do it again this time.
Right.
Because
do you think they were there before you met them, or while you met them, that's when they kind of...
I believe... That's a really good question. I believe they possess them. They possess the people that I jump around.
Right.
So,
and then because they're doing drugs and alcohol and things like that, it's more.
So they're low vibrational people.
Right.
So it's easy because. So what also thing you're going to learn is demons aren't allowed to come to us directly. Right. Like unless obviously if I'm under the influence or certain things, but they're not really allowed. They can't access us when we're really high vibrational. They cannot access us. So that's when the people around us start attacking us, because that's the only way. They have to go through them to get through us, because we're physically, they can't even enter our realm.
Right.
So they got to find low value people around them to be like, oh, you're an idiot. Why don't you go online and go bug that person? Like go say this crazy stuff to instigate it.
Yeah.
So you always notice every time there is an attack against you, it might be right before you're supposed to go on stage somewhere. Or right before you're going to show up to a podcast, it comes in through the people around you to throw you off from your path.
That makes sense. So it's funny you say the thing about the eyes. So the other story that kind of got me on this track was, I'm going to leave out as many details as I can so that the person that it is, it doesn't, say who it is. But I had a buddy hit me up, and he went to jail he got like a DUI or whatever. So I hadn't seen him in a while. It's like right in the thick of COVID. And he hit me up and he's like, yo, man, let's hang out. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm like, all right, cool. So I actually have to leave out. I'll tell you after the podcast. I really got to leave this part out because I just don't even want to put that out there. I don't want any beef with those people, whatever, but I'll tell you after. So anyways, he was telling me he was basically thinking about joining a gang, we'll call it. And long story short, I'm going to skip through this part to leave out as many details, but him and I were hanging out. As long as I'd known this person, he's had this weird look in his eyes where he's like a little, like, you're like, he's super cool. But then you're like, dude, this dude could snap at any moment. Right. And so anyways, we're sitting in my car and, oh man, the details of the story are so much better. I just really can't share those. Okay. I just got to show those privately. But he showed me a picture. This thing happened. And when he looked at this picture, his body literally shifted like this. Like he went like this and he kind of blinked. And then he looked me in the eyes. And for the first time since I known him, that look was gone. Right now, once I tell you the details after this, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's so much juicier. So that happened. Right. And I was like, now this is again, before I even knew about all this stuff, but I was like, this motherfucker looks different. No, like that was weird. From 1 second to the next, he's just different. And then he was like, oh my God, dude, you're right. I shouldn't do this and this and that. So that night I went home, whatever, we parted ways and I had a dream. And in this dream, I'm hanging out with my same buddy and we're talking face to face like this. And then out of nowhere, this like ghoul, goblin, demon looking thing jumps out of him and like jumps in my face like, rah, right? So I wake up, I'm like, holy shit, what the hell was that? And literally my entire body, my chest, my stomach, my legs, everything felt like it was on fire, right? So I was like, dude, that was weird. But my skeptical mind is like, it was just a dream, just a nightmare, no big deal. But I'm like, yeah, but dude, I've never woke up and my body feels like it's been burned, right? There was no burns physically, but it just felt that way. So that happened. And at the time I'd been working with this gentleman. He was a Navy SEAL for 24 years, the CIA for 11 years. And then as he went through his own awakening, he woke up to all the bullshit that goes on with the military and all that. So he became more of like a spiritual coach and stuff like this. So I was working with him at the time and I told him the story and he said, yeah, he goes, yep, that's a demon, this and that and whatever. So then maybe 2 months after that, one day we jump on our coaching call and he goes, it's so funny. He's like, Dom, I've been instructed by the angelic realm to teach you how to cast demons out of people. Now I'm sitting there, I'm like trying not to laugh. Cause again, this is before I knew about all this stuff. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, this guy's a fucking Navy SEAL, fucking badass motherfucker. I'm not going to talk shit and make fun of him. Yeah. So I was just like, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, okay, the fucking angelic realm, teach me how to have whatever, bro. But here's what's funny. Here's what's really interesting. I kid you not, a week or two before that, this is right in the thick of COVID. The thought came to me, I'm like, you know what? Although the work that we do does help people spiritually, I feel like I got to do a little bit more. Like, I feel like I got to really go on the spiritual level, not just the normal hypnosis stuff, or whatever. And so when he told me that, even though I wanted to laugh at him, I was like, that is weird though. Cause I was literally just thinking this like the week before. So anyways, he teaches me how to do it. So essentially in a nutshell, it's kind of like what you already said. When people are in a very low vibration, shame, anger, guilt, sadness, depression, they're in such a low frequency, and that's where these entities that's how they can get in, because they're low vibrational, so they can sink in. Now, the higher your vibration, essentially what he said is the highest vibration is love, and love to a demon is like light to a vampire. Like if they see it, they got to get away. 100%. They can't stay in that same frequency, right?
100%.
So he tells me how to do this technique and everything and whatever. So he says, okay, you got to pick somebody that you want to help, that you think needs this, whatever. So I said, okay. So later on, oh, no, wait, hold on. Let me back up a step. So that same day, we had our session, we jump off, and a couple hours later, I'm listening to a podcast, my favorite podcast, the Tinfoil Hat podcast by Sam Tripoli. Shout out to Sam. But,
hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam. You would love Sam. But so I'm listening to this podcast and he has a demonologist on the podcast. So I'm thinking like, this is cool. Yeah. I'm like, that's interesting. This guy just taught me how to do the casting demons. Now I'm listening to demonologists, but I'm still thinking like, yeah, I don't know. Like this guy was talking some crazier shit. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can buy in all this, but whatever. It's interesting. I like that kind of stuff. So that was that. Well, then that night, right before I went to bed, I was like, oh shoot, I got to do my technique, right? So I was thinking like, okay, who can I pick? Who can I pick? And I'm like, oh, dude, perfect. The guy I just told you about, like my buddy. So I do the technique or whatever right before I go to bed. Don't think anything of it. Go to sleep. Now, have you ever had sleep paralysis before? Where you wake up and you're awake, but you can't move?
When I was really little, yes.
Okay. So I used to have sleep paralysis a lot when I was younger, but I hadn't had it in like up at that point, probably 5 years. It's been a long time since I had it. And so I woke up, I'm in sleep paralysis. I can't move, but this time it's different than every other time because this time there's something in my left ear growling like this. Like I could feel the sound going into my ear.
The vibration
of the whatever that fucking was. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, so when you're in sleep paralysis, you're awake, but you can't physically move. Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like this thing's growling in my ear and I start panicking in my head, but I can't move him. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, what did I do? This is too much. Like I shouldn't be messing with this. It's like Pandora's box. So like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this, whatever. Yeah. So that's all happening in like split seconds. Just, I'm like, okay, no. The guy said, can't get afraid. Yeah. You gotta stay in the love vibration. So I do my thing and then it goes away. I can get the feeling in my body. But now I'm sitting, it's like 12:30 at night. I'm sitting in my bed and my adrenaline's going. I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? Like I thought this whole demon thing was fake. So then I can't sleep. So I go in the living room. I turn on all the lights in my house. I turn on the bathroom light, fucking hall light, dinner, everything.
Because you can feel the like the what's it called? The remnants of it.
I was like, I gotta fucking brighten this place up. Yeah, it's scary. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm watching TV. This will help get my mind. I'm eating a bowl of granola, and I go on my cell phone and I check my DMs, and guess who I have a direct message from? Guess.
From him?
No, the demonologist that I was just listening to on the podcast that same day, like 10 hours before that. Isn't that crazy? So this is one of the most, and I'm getting the chills thinking about it too. This is one of the most awakened moments in my life because I thought I was dreaming at this point. I'm like, this is impossible. There's no way, because I never heard of this guy. His name's Nathaniel Gillis, by the way. And I'm like, I'm going on my phone. I'm like looking at his Instagram, and then I go back to the podcast. I'm like, it's the same guy, the same name. I'm like, so I message him back, and I told him everything I just told you. Dude, that's blah, 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 blah. And he goes, yeah, I know, man. People think it's crazy, but it's real. Da, da, da. So we actually jumped on the phone and we talked, at like 1 o'clock in the morning by now. And he's like, yeah, man, it's real. And he basically kind of gave me some pointers on what to do about my buddy and everything. And, even still to this day, that's probably, I would say that's the most awakened I've been, meaning that in that moment, everything was so clear. All the colors, like at the time I lived in an apartment, like I could see the stucco on the wall, like every little shadow and every little detail. I could see the leaves in the tree, like the veins in the tree. And it's at night. I could see all the blades of grass. Like my eyes were just so bright. And I think what happened is my third eye just like bursted wide open, but it also made my normal vision. I could hear everything clearly. So after that, and then that led me to the picture I just saw you. And then since then there's been some other interesting things, but that's how I know. I'm like, after that happened, there's no questioning whether or not this shit's real. Like people can question it all they want. It's real.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to support you with something really cool that I just learned recently. So replace the word coincidence with God situations.
Oh, I love that. That's
so
cool.
Instead of saying that was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Could people be like, that was a coincidence? I'd be like, no, that was a God situation.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Right?
I don't think that was a coincidence. I think it all.
But I like the words now because it's like it was a God. Oh no, it's called God incident. So instead of coincidence, it's God incident.
Instead of co-incident, God incident.
God incident. God and incident from God.
Intended you for that to happen. I love that.
It's more purposeful.
Yeah.
And then people we get to open up a new way for people to look at it.
Right, now they're thinking about God instead of just like, we're just a speck of dust floating through the universe.
God incidents. I just heard that the other day through one of my spiritual advisors.
That's cool. Yeah, I love it.
Like, that's genius.
Yeah.
That really is genius.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I love this. Yeah, so I haven't, so at the age of 9, when I realized I have the power and the whole demon thing, I've always been able to see demons. And like you said, so I have like, so when I walk into a room, I'm already prepared as a energy worker, as a seer, is the minute I walk into a room, I'm always creating the highest vibrational frequency to bring love. How can I add value to the room? So it's really interesting. The people I attract when I walk in the room and the people I repel. Because I've never, people like girls that are like very like the bitch club or the mean girls club or the bully club, they've never liked me. So if I walk into, let's say I walk into a room, let's just say Instagram models, whatever, I can already tell who has a demon in them. Because there's going to be girls who are automatically going to gravitate to me and say, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Let's collab. Yeah. And then there's going to be a group of certain people that won't even look me in the eyes.
Yep.
These girls will not even look me in the eyes because they're so low vibrational with hate, which what it is they are harboring demons that can't stand my presence.
Right.
So I understand it. People would just be like, oh, she's a hater. But I see so much deeper as no, that she has a demon in her.
100%.
That demon does not like me. And that demon knows I see it.
Right.
And I see everything that that person's about to create and the havoc they're going to create in people's lives.
Isn't it funny how literally every time, like if I get invited to speak somewhere, if I go to a networking event or something, somehow, some way, it's mostly women because women are more in tune with this stuff, but somehow, some way, the psychic always ends up, they don't know anything about me. They just come like, oh yeah. Like the other day I was at this thing, this networking event, this lady's like, yeah, I just came. I didn't really want to come, but such and such said to come here. And so what do you do, by the way? And I was like, oh, Dom, I do hypnosis, this and that. She's like, oh, really? I'm a psychic. And I'm like, oh, there you go. See, there it is.
Right.
But it's like, you always gravitate. It's just something you see or feel. And I remember this other networking event I went to, literally, there was like a table of 8 of us. And then you could tell that we were the only 8 people who were in tune on that frequency. Everybody else was it's just different vibe. Yes. And somehow we all just gravitated to the same table. Nobody knew anybody. It was like, what the fuck, dude? It happens every time. So no, I love this stuff. It's so much cooler than and better than the old way I used to think and be. And it's it's fascinating. And I was telling you earlier about the shaman stuff. So I have a team of people that work for me, and they're all going through their shaman rites as well. So like our whole entire little tribe of people are all elevating and everything together. Yeah, so it's cool. Creating little light workers that go out and freaking do their stuff. World. Yeah, so it's fun. I love this.
Okay, so how can somebody get a hold of you to work with you, and what do you offer?
Yeah, so we do a couple of things. So people can work with me. I only take on a certain amount of clients per month because I do have a team of other hypnotherapists. And then, as I mentioned, they're going through their shaman stuff and whatnot. So they work with me one-on-one, work with them. I also do groups. And then coming up this January 26th, 27th, 28th, I'm putting on a live event at Circa Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. So there'll be like, the room fits 300 people. So we'll have like 300 something people there. And it's going to be personal development, getting clear on our goals, breaking through limiting beliefs, getting charged up for the new year. So we just did our first one a couple months ago. This is our second one. And we're going to do this event 4 times a year. We also offer like hypnosis, learning how to do hypnosis, mindset stuff as well as a separate thing. And then also we're doing our first retreat in the end of March or beginning of April. So we're going to take a group of small people to Tulum and go deep into kind of what we're talking about here, helping them activate their gifts and everything. So yeah, so if they, you could just go on Instagram, just send me a DM. There's also links and stuff. You could just book a call with somebody on my team. And it'll be one of the best, if not the best decision you've ever made in your life. So
yeah, definitely. Well, that's how I found you is, I'm in a mastermind with a bunch of other people. And I just saw all of a sudden, like everyone's stories were at your event.
Yeah.
And everyone was reposting you. And I was just like, no, I literally was like, wait, why
am I not there now?
No, why didn't they invite me?
Yeah,
I was all butthurt.
That's fun. You should come to my next one.
I'm definitely, if you want to come. We're definitely going to make that happen. Especially the whole Tulum thing. One of my first spiritual awakenings recently, 3 years ago, was in Tulum.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
There's just a connection there with me.
I've never been, so
the Mayans.
and I want to go. So that was like, all right, we'll bring our
yeah,
our
I always say like the juju from the earth in Mexico, right? In that whole area.
That's what I heard. It's like sacred,
Tulum,
right?
it's powerful.
That's why.
Like you're literally you're gonna feel like whatever your past lives are, or whatever spirits. Like you're gonna feel this warrior within you, just like
really. That's cool. You know,
it's an amazing feeling.
It's funny because I feel like before COVID, Tulum wasn't really like a really huge hotspot. It's almost like it happened during that whole awakening during COVID, and now it's like Tulum is this just crazy place that everybody wants to go to. It was before COVID, but I feel like more so now it's like a very, very wanted, destination that people are going to. So yeah, I'm excited. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule
to
be here. God, what was it again? God situation?
God situation. Yeah, this is a God situation.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. You guys give this video a thumbs up. Again, remember, if you heard anything that you love, make sure to forward it to somebody you want. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And have a